Hello, and welcome. Wherever you are, however you've arrived here, I'm so glad you made it. This is your space now, a place to rest, to breathe, to feel safe for a little while. Before we begin, I want you to notice your body just as it is. You don't need to change anything. If it feels right, let your shoulders soften, unclench your jaw, maybe let out a slow, gentle breath. We all have moments in life when the road seems to shift beneath our feet, when we lose our place in the story we thought we were living. It could be the ending of a job, the closing of a relationship, or a quiet realization that the life we've been carrying no longer feels like our own. And in those moments, we are invited, sometimes gently, sometimes suddenly, to begin again. But starting again isn't always easy. Sometimes, it can feel like standing at the edge of a vast, open field, no clear path in front of you, just endless space, and the weight of not knowing where to step first. There can be fear in that space, and yet, there can also be freedom. So, tonight, or today, wherever you are in your own journey, I want to walk with you through the beauty of starting over. Not as something to fear, but as something soft, and brave, and quietly powerful. Because each time we begin again, we are not starting from nothing, we are starting from the strength of all we've lived before. We often carry a quiet weight when the thought of starting again appears in our lives. It might arrive as a question whispered in the back of our mind, what if I fail again? Or as a heavy statement, I'm too old to start over. Sometimes it's an ache that says, I've wasted too much time, so why bother? These thoughts can settle into us like stubborn shadows, convincing us that turning back to the starting line is proof that we've somehow fallen behind. But here's the truth we rarely tell ourselves: failure is not the opposite of success, it's the path that shapes it. Every misstep, every detour, every ending you've walked through has been part of your becoming. And yet, fear lingers because starting again can feel like admitting we didn't get it right the first time. We worry others will notice, will judge, will whisper about what we left behind. But the truth is, most people are too busy carrying their own restarts to measure ours. Think about nature for a moment, how a forest looks after a fire. At first, it seems like only destruction remains. The ground is bare, the air smells of smoke, and the quiet feels heavy. But if you return weeks later, you'll see the smallest green shoots pushing through the ash. Over time, they grow, and the forest doesn't just recover, it becomes richer, more alive than before. We are no different. Each time we start again, we are like that forest, carrying the memory of what came before, but stepping into a version of ourselves that has space for new life to grow. So perhaps the question is not, what if I fail again, but, what beauty might grow here, if I dare to begin? There is a quiet, often overlooked gift in starting over, a kind of gift that doesn't arrive wrapped in ribbons, or announced with fireworks. It's subtle, like the way morning light slowly spills into a dark room. You might not notice it right away, but when you do, it feels like warmth spreading into the cold corners of your life. We often think of starting again as a punishment, as if we've been forced to go back to the beginning because we somehow failed the first time. But if we look closely, we can see something different, a second chance, or maybe even a third, a fourth, however many we need. Life is generous like that. It doesn't stop offering us new beginnings, no matter how many times we've stumbled. When we start over, we carry something precious that we didn't have the first time: experience. Think about it, the first time you tried anything, you were stepping into the unknown without a map. But now, even if the path ahead looks uncertain, you carry pieces of maps from all the roads you've walked before. You know what worked, what didn't, what hurt, and what lit you up inside. That wisdom means your next step, even if it's small, is made with more awareness than the one before. Starting again also clears away what no longer serves you. It's like cleaning out an old drawer. At first, it's messy, papers scattered, dust rising into the air, memories slipping into your hands. But as you sort through it, you make space for the things that truly matter, for the things that reflect who you are now, not who you used to be. There's a lightness that comes when you let go of what was weighing you down. And in that space, new things can take root. I think of a person I once knew, someone who worked in a job that drained every bit of joy from their days. For years, they told themselves they had to stay. The pay was good, the position was respectable, and everyone around them seemed to believe that leaving would be reckless. But one day, after yet another sleepless night and another morning where the weight in their chest felt unbearable, they decided to walk away. It wasn't easy. In fact, the first few weeks felt terrifying. But little by little, they began to rediscover parts of themselves they had buried. They took long walks again. They laughed more. They began painting, something they had abandoned a decade earlier. And months later, when I saw them, they didn't just look different, they felt different. Lighter. More alive. That is what starting over can do. Sometimes, the gift of starting again is that it allows us to meet ourselves all over. We change over the years, yet we rarely pause to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. We cling to old versions of who we were, forgetting that we've grown, we've shifted, we've shed layers. Beginning again invites us to ask, who am I now? What do I want now? The answers may surprise you. And here's the thing, starting again doesn't erase the past. It doesn't pretend it didn't happen. Instead, it weaves the lessons, the scars, and the memories into a new story. It's not about discarding everything, it's about building something more honest from it. You're not wiping the slate clean, you're writing on a canvas that already has depth, texture, and color from everything you've lived. So, if you're standing at the edge of a new beginning, wondering if it's worth the risk, remember this, you are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into a space already rich with your own resilience. You are carrying the tools, the stories, the courage you didn't have before. And that is the hidden gift. There comes a moment, when we decide to start again, that we must face something we often resist, letting go of the old chapter. It's not easy, because those pages feel familiar. Even if they were heavy, even if they hurt, they are pages we've lived. They've shaped our days, our routines, our sense of who we are. And the idea of closing them can feel like erasing a part of ourselves. But letting go isn't erasing. It's making space for the story to continue. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You are holding a book in your hands. Its cover is worn, the pages softened from all the times you've turned them. You know this chapter so well, you could almost recite it from memory. Some pages are filled with moments you want to hold on to forever. Others, you wish you could skip entirely. But here you are, your hand resting on the final page. You can feel the weight of it. You can sense the stillness that comes right before a page turns. And when you do, the next page is blank. White. Waiting. There's both fear and beauty in that blankness. Fear, because we crave the comfort of knowing what comes next. Beauty, because in that emptiness, anything is possible. Letting go is not about throwing away your past. It's about loosening your grip so you can carry the lessons forward without the weight of everything else. You get to keep the wisdom without dragging the pain. Sometimes, letting go means releasing old identities, the labels you once wore proudly, or the ones others placed on you without your permission. Maybe you were the reliable one, always putting yourself last. Or the strong one, never showing your cracks. Maybe you were the dreamer who stopped dreaming because life told you to be practical. When you start again, you have permission to shed those skins. You are allowed to be someone new. Letting go also means loosening the hold of other people's expectations. Perhaps you've been walking a path that was never really yours, but one you thought you should follow. Maybe it was a career chosen because it made sense on paper, or a lifestyle shaped by the invisible rules of your culture, family, or peers. It takes quiet courage to step off that path, and even more courage to stay off it when the world keeps calling you back. And then, there's the hardest part, letting go of regret for lost time. We look back and think, if only I had started sooner. If only I had known then what I know now. But time is never truly lost. Every step you've taken has brought you to this moment. The mistakes, the delays, the pauses, they are not detours from your life. They are your life. And when you start again, you are not wasting time, you are honoring it by using it differently. So, I invite you to take a breath here. Let it be slow, and deep, and full. As you exhale, imagine setting down a heavy bag you've been carrying. Inside it are all the things you no longer need, the should-haves, the could-haves, the voices of doubt, the weight of other people's dreams. Let it rest on the ground. Feel how light you are without it. When we let go, we're not walking away empty-handed. We walk forward with only what serves us, and that makes the journey lighter, freer, more open to possibility. The blank page isn't something to fear. It's an invitation. And somewhere in your heart, you already know what you want to write next. When we think about starting again, it's easy to imagine it as a grand, dramatic leap, a moment where everything changes overnight. But the truth is, most new beginnings don't arrive with fanfare. They arrive quietly, in small choices. A tiny shift here. A gentle action there. And over time, those small steps gather power, like raindrops becoming a river. If you are here, listening, you don't have to have the whole path figured out. You don't need a detailed plan for the next 5 years. You don't even need to know what step 20 looks like. You only need to know the first one. Just one step you can take today, without overwhelming yourself. Maybe that step is as simple as making your bed in the morning, not because it fixes your life, but because it's an act of care, a way of telling yourself, I matter enough to create a peaceful space for myself. Or maybe your step is going for a short walk, letting the fresh air touch your skin, letting your mind have room to breathe. It could be sending one message to a person you've lost touch with, or writing down one idea that's been living in your head. You don't have to rush. Momentum built on urgency often burns out quickly. But momentum built on kindness lasts. That's what I call gentle momentum, progress that moves at the pace of your heart, not the pressure of the world. Imagine a river. It doesn't crash forward all at once. It flows steadily, patiently carving its way through rock, creating beauty over time. That's what your new chapter can feel like. Sometimes, the first small step is simply deciding what you want to keep from your old chapter, and what you want to leave behind. Think of it like unpacking after a long journey. You take out what's still useful, what still feels like you. The rest, you set aside. This is an act of self-respect, choosing what truly belongs in your life now. You might also try building one gentle ritual to anchor your days. A ritual is different from a routine. A routine can feel like an obligation, but a ritual feels like an offering to yourself. Maybe you light a candle when you wake, as a quiet reminder that the day is yours to shape. Maybe you keep a small notebook where you write 3 lines every night about what felt good, what you learned, or simply how you're feeling. These rituals tell your mind and body, I am here for me. And I want to remind you, you don't have to be perfect at these steps. You don't have to do them every single day without fail. What matters is showing up more often than not. Growth isn't about never missing a step, it's about returning to the path, again and again, even when you wander. If it helps, think about the smallest thing you can do that would make tomorrow feel just a little lighter. Not the biggest thing. Not the most impressive thing. Just something doable, something gentle. That could be cleaning one corner of your room instead of the whole house. Drinking one extra glass of water. Taking 5 minutes to stretch your body before bed. These may seem too small to matter, but trust me, small acts, repeated with love, can reshape an entire life. So if you feel lost, if you feel overwhelmed, let's make this simple. Take one step. Then another. And another. Let your steps be so small that they feel almost too easy. Because here's the secret, when steps are easy, you'll take more of them. And when you take more of them, one day you'll look back and realize you've walked farther than you ever thought you could. This is how we begin again without breaking ourselves in the process. Not through force. Not through pressure. But through small, kind steps that honor where we've been, and where we hope to go. When we begin again, there's something even more important than the steps we take, and that is the trust we build with ourselves. Because no matter how beautiful your plan is, no matter how inspired you feel right now, if you don't believe in your own ability to keep showing up, the path will always feel unstable beneath your feet. Self-trust isn't something that appears overnight. It's something we grow into, just like we grow into new habits or new identities. And often, when we've been through endings, disappointments, or mistakes, our trust in ourselves gets shaken. We think, I've let myself down before, what if I do it again? That doubt can make us hesitate, even when our heart is calling us forward. But here's the truth, self-trust isn't about never falling. It's about knowing you will stand back up when you do. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. And the way we build that consistency is not through grand promises, but through small, kept promises, ones so simple that you can't help but follow through. Maybe your promise to yourself is, I will drink a glass of water every morning. Or, I will write one sentence in my journal each night. These promises may feel almost too small, but when you keep them, something quiet and powerful happens. You prove to yourself, again and again, that your words to yourself matter. And when that belief starts to grow, it spills over into bigger things. Suddenly, committing to a larger goal doesn't feel as overwhelming, because deep down you know, I can trust me. I want you to think of it like planting a garden. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're planting a seed. One seed might not seem like much, but day by day, as you water them, they begin to sprout. Eventually, you look around and realize you're standing in a place full of life you've grown with your own hands. That's what self-trust feels like, a garden built not in a day, but over many quiet, patient moments. Another way to rebuild trust is to speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Too often, we are harshest with ourselves in the moments we most need kindness. If a friend came to you and said, I'm trying to start over, but I feel like I can't trust myself, would you tell them they're hopeless? Of course not. You remind them of the times they've shown resilience. You'd tell them they've already proven they can survive hard days. So why not offer yourself that same grace? And when you do make mistakes, because you will, because we all do, remember that trust is not destroyed by a single broken promise. It is rebuilt by returning. Just as a relationship with someone else can be repaired with honest effort, so can the one you have with yourself. Apologize to yourself if you need to. Say, I didn't keep my word yesterday, but I will try again today. That willingness to return is what strengthens the bond. If you want a gentle practice, here's one. Each night before you sleep, whisper one thing you did today that honored your own well-being. It doesn't have to be big. It could be as simple as I took a break when I was tired or I said no to something that drained me. Let those acknowledgments be proof to yourself that you are showing up, even in small ways. Over time, they become the foundation you stand on when you take bigger steps. Because here's the thing, starting again is not just about changing your life. It's about changing the way you see yourself. It's about replacing the voice that doubts you with one that says, I believe in you. And when that belief becomes part of you, no setback can truly take it away. So, as you move forward, let self-trust be the quiet companion at your side. Keep your promises, even the tiny ones. Speak to yourself with tenderness. Return to the path when you wander. And remember, you are not learning to be perfect. You are learning to be reliable to yourself. And that is the kind of strength that carries you through every new beginning you will ever face. There is a moment in every new beginning when you realize, you can't see the whole path ahead. You might know your first step, maybe even the second, but beyond that, it's mist. The unknown stretches out in front of you like a quiet road at night, the horizon hidden from view. And that can feel scary. We're taught to believe that certainty is safety, that we should know exactly where we're going and how we'll get there before we take a single step. But here's the truth that's softer, and maybe harder to accept: all of life is the unknown. Even the moments we think are certain can shift in an instant. The question isn't how to control it, the question is, how can we make peace with it? When you're starting again, the unknown can feel like a threat, but it can also be an invitation. Think of it this way: if you already knew every detail of how your life would unfold, there would be no room for surprises, no space for wonder. The unknown is where unexpected friendships begin, where ideas are born, where life's sweetest moments arrive without warning. It's not just the place of uncertainty, it's the place of possibility. Sometimes, embracing the unknown begins with changing how you see it. Instead of a blank, empty space, imagine it as a canvas, untouched, waiting for you to paint on it. You don't have to know the entire picture right now. You can start with a single brush stroke. Maybe today's brush stroke is sending an application. Maybe it's opening a book. Maybe it's just allowing yourself to imagine a life that feels different from the one you've known. I know, it's tempting to try to map out everything. To have guarantees. To know for sure that every step will lead you where you want to go. But real life doesn't work like that. And maybe that's not a flaw, maybe that's the magic. Because the most important things in your life probably didn't arrive according to a perfect plan. You stumbled into them. They found you when you weren't looking. They came from the unknown. One way to soften your fear of uncertainty is to focus on what is within your control. You can't control how the whole story unfolds, but you can control how you show up in it. You can choose curiosity over panic. You can choose openness over resistance. You can choose to say, I don't know exactly where this road leads, but I am willing to walk it. There's a gentle courage in moving forward without all the answers. It's not loud or dramatic. It's quiet, steady, and deeply human. Courage, in this sense, doesn't mean you aren't afraid. It means you're willing to be here, in this moment, without needing to see the ending first. Sometimes, when the unknown feels overwhelming, it helps to remember, you've been here before. Every new school, every new friendship, every new chapter, they were all unknown once. And yet, here you are. You've navigated the unfamiliar more times than you realize. You've survived days you thought you couldn't. You've built a life out of moments you didn't see coming. This is not your first unknown, and it won't be your last, but each time, you've grown through it. Try, for a moment, to imagine that the unknown ahead is not an empty void, but a garden in the dark. You can't see all of it yet, but life is already growing there. Seeds you've planted in small acts of courage are quietly taking root. When the time is right, they will bloom, and you'll realize that even when you couldn't see progress, it was happening all along. So breathe here. Loosen your shoulders. Let yourself rest in the truth that you don't have to know it all. You only have to meet each day as it comes, with an open heart and a willingness to begin again, over and over, until the shape of your new life reveals itself. The unknown will never go away, but maybe it's not the enemy we think it is. Maybe it's the wide open space where the most beautiful parts of our story are waiting for us to arrive. And maybe, just maybe, that's something to lean into, not run from. So, here you are. At the edge of something new. Maybe you're still holding pieces of the past, maybe your hands are trembling, maybe you're not entirely sure how to begin. That's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out tonight. Starting again is not a single leap. It's a series of small, steady moments, showing up for yourself, even when the road is unclear. And each time you do, you plant another seed. You may not see the garden yet, but trust that it's growing. I want you to remember, you are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where your story needs you to be to write its next chapter. And there is no shame in beginning again. In fact, it's one of the bravest things you can do. So as you turn off this video and step back into your own quiet world, take one small action that says to yourself, I am ready. Drink that glass of water. Open that notebook. Send that message. Let that be your first brushstroke on the blank canvas ahead. And if the unknown feels too heavy, come back here. Let this moment remind you that you are not walking alone. There are others, maybe thousands of us, who are beginning again right alongside you, each in our own way, each with our own quiet courage. You don't have to sprint. You don't have to see the whole map. Just take the next gentle step. And then another. And another. Until one day, you'll look up and realize you are living in a life you once only dreamed of. For now, breathe. Let yourself feel the beauty of this exact moment. And know, I believe in you. You can start again. And again. And as many times as you need.